so you got to give them a little edge in the pitching circle as well. So, look for Oregon Tech to stay hot and stay with their game plan, and hopefully Cumberlands, they rebound from yesterday a little bit and look to make a stab at it.
Casey Schmidt went 2 1/3 innings in the last game. Here's the lineup at the Cumberlands Patriots. 4 losses on the season, one of them coming yesterday, and they were mercied. They lost in 5 innings to Southern Oregon. This year off a loss, a perfect 3-0 are the University of the Cumberlands Patriots. We're ready for first pitch between the number 1 seeded Owls and the 3 seeded Patriots. Winner advances to the championship against Southern Oregon. Glad you could settle in with us wherever you may be, folks, for NAIA softball. This is the highest level that it gets in the NAIA, the World Series in Columbus, Georgia. First pitch at 7:10 p.m. Casey Schmidt, the sophomore, as it wrapped foul as Carly Oliver leads things off for Cumberlands.
Like the approach, Schmidt comes out throwing a hard ball for a strike, and Carly Oliver swinging at the first pitch. Let's not wait around. Let's get the offense going now.
A .415 hitter, Carly Oliver. She lifts one to left. Carly Oliver flies out at the fence. Zoe Allen makes the play for out number 1.
Take that as a good hit. She got out. Take it as a good thing. Being aggressive. Give it about another hour, and that ball's going to go out when the sun goes down. I'm telling you.
Something about that air in Columbus, Georgia after sunset.
You want to play softball games nighttime in Columbus. That's the key.
Well, it would bring the temperature down for sure. It was 83 just a few moments ago. That quickly dropping as Maddie Sickow steps up to the plate. Boy, it's a good thing that last hit died at the fence for Casey Schmidt in the circle. That would have been 2 homers given up in back-to-back games today.
That's right. And it's a big field. I mean, she probably hit it about, that's probably 210 where she hit it. She probably hit it 209, 208.
Sickow gets her first hit of the World Series. After starting 0 of 9, Maddie Sickow reaches first.
There's a reason why Cumberlands have only lost 4 games all year. To get beat yesterday, 8 runs. Great teams like that will come back and ready. They can't wait to play. 24 hours of sitting around the hotel. Can't wait to get back on the field. And this is their time. And so far, the first 2 hitters have shown, hey, we're coming here. We're going to fight. We're going to swing.
And so far, Mackenzie Keats has been one of, if not the player of the tournament. As you heard in the opening, Mackenzie Keats with 3 home runs 2 games ago for Cumberlands in the night win 9-6 over Marion. A new record, first player ever to hit 3 home runs in 1 game. She then cracked another solo bomb last night against Southern Oregon.
Yeah, you can tell Casey Smith's being very, very careful with Keats. Behind in the count 2-0, but she's not, I think she's too worried about it. As long as she doesn't give up a home run or a double. Good 2-0 low and away. Strike outside. Can't get hurt there.
Casey Schmidt, a second chance for her today. Again, low, bounces off the plate. J.C. Sievert blocks it for 3-1.
Oregon Tech, they only run 2 pitchers. They're Schmidt and Staub, and Staub threw a lot of innings last a little while ago, so it's very important for them that Schmidt can at least give them 3 or 4 good innings.
A walk for Mackenzie Keats.
I'd call that a good walk. You don't let that girl, you don't want to let Keats have another 3 home run game. Limit her. Take the walk, first and second, 1 out.
Defensive starters for the Oregon Tech Owls. Gold Glovers at catcher, at first, and in right field. Well, that's J.C. Sievert behind the plate, the Gold Glover. The first baseman, Puakea Milborn, and Maggie Buckholtz in right field for Oregon Tech. Head coach Greg Stewart back to his dugout. 19th season at the helm for the Owls. A national champion in 2011. 9-time Coach of the Year in the Cascade Conference. That includes this season.
I like the timeout, like the timing of the timeout. Kind of reset yourself here. 1 out, make good pitches here, good ground balls. Oregon Tech's lined up in double play depth up the middle. Runs the ball in a little bit. They do have a little shift to right side. Not sure if that's for the hitter's purpose or if that's how they're going to attack her from a pitching standpoint.
Emily Bryant, a .335 hitter on the year. To short. Called dead for an out. Interference on the base paths. Maddie Sickow is retired.
Yeah, much like the first game with Marion. You know, all these chances, these weird plays. Don't want to be on the bad end of those bad plays. There's not a whole lot she can do there, but those are the moments where you got to be able to be on the good side and advance people on the bases. You know, those are plays that kind of bails the defense out a little bit, and maybe a good thing because that might have been a double play ball. That could have ended the inning. So they end up making could be a good thing.
Yeah, for Kayla Mick at short. Yeah, she gets the out, but she wanted 2. 2 down now, nonetheless, with 2 runners on in the top of the first. Oregon Tech was in a similar situation about 2 hours ago. Marion left the bases loaded in the top of the first. Well, rather, that was the bottom of the first as
right.
Now Oregon Tech, the home team.
And you know, it's the first inning. The first inning is kind of like the 7th inning, trying to close out a 2 or 3 run lead. It's just, you know, everybody's excited, everybody's fired up, and a little bit of butterflies maybe, just a lot of energy going around, and it's tough. It's tough to start off a good inning, a good top of first inning or bottom of the first.
Well, Sickow got out of her slump with a hit in the 2-hole. Bailey Turnbow looks to do the same. She's 0 of 8 in the World Series.
She's got a great hitting count right here, Jack. 3-1 count, sitting something on middle end, or maybe sit outside us where she's being thrown a lot, and there it is.
Cracked high to center. Lexi Klum retires the side with 2 left on base in the top of the first. The bats of Oregon Tech were flying a game ago. They look to continue their soaring in game 2 in the bottom of the first after this. Bottom of the first, Oregon Tech, the 1 seed. Gets out of the jam in the top of the first inning. Our first look at the starting pitcher for the Cumberlands Patriots. Morgan Radford, a late change. Originally sent to us on the lineup card as Tally Burgess, it's Morgan Radford, who has seen limited time in this World Series. Came in for a save in the win over Marion. Then was the last pitcher to record the final out. That's all she came in for in the last night's game against Southern Oregon. So in full, 2 innings of work Just one hit allowed and then zeros across the board for runs, walks, strikeouts, and home runs.
Well, I'm not sure, the strategy on the Cumberlands part, but left-handed pitcher going the first couple innings maybe. They got a couple other kids. They got Burgess who's thrown 143 innings, and you got White who's thrown 103. Maybe piece it together, throw all three, try to slow the Oregon Tech offense down a little.
Morgan Radford, the junior. With strike one, ready to prove everybody wrong.
It's a nice curveball low and away to the lefty.
Head coach Bailey Dillander in her 7th season with Cumberlands. She's been playing some mind games for the last 24 hours, going back to the game against Southern Oregon yesterday. There you see Morgan Radford, the Cookeville, Tennessee native.
Change up inside. That's one thing I learned about the Oregon Tech kids. You can't get behind, but you don't want to throw over the plate. Man, you got to nibble on these corners. You got to change some speed, change some locations.
Zoe Allen pops it to short. It's dropped. Maddie Sickow can't make the play, and Allen gets into second.
Yeah, that's a good pitch, good pop up. The play's got to be made. You cannot give these Oregon Tech hitters, offense, extra chances, and especially when you got Buck Holtz looming on deck.
An error on Maddie Sickow. One of two seniors starting for Cumberlands, and then a wild pitch that advances Allen to third.
Coach coming out, good time out here, settle everybody down. As a coach, if I'm in it, and of course I've been in this situation many a times, first inning, it's about, okay, maybe we do damage control here. We're going to give up one run. That's fine. Leave it at one run. Let's focus on the batter and get her out. If she hits a ground ball second and scores a run, who cares? Let's just go 1, 2, 3. Let's get out the next 3 batters and be done with it.
Coach Bailey Dillander, a player. 2-time Player of the Year in the Mid-South Conference from 2009 to 2012 at Campbellsville. Now coaching within that conference with the Cumberlands Patriots. Took the job after they renovated their facilities 8 years ago. It was an attractive position after a new athletic director and president took over with an athlete's focus, wanting to focus on the athletes, that is.
Yeah, I'm from Kentucky, so I know the Cumberlands. I know the area very well. It's a very, very pretty town, community, school. I know the Campbellsville people where she played ball at too. So it's a very very friendly for people. How should I say? It's a place where you want to live and coach. It's just the environment, the communities, all of it. It's just in the area. It's just gorgeous, and it's great places to be, great people.
Just an hour north of Knoxville, Tennessee. A 4-pitch walk to Kayla Mick. Runners at the corners, Oregon Tech riding that momentum from their win over Marion, 8-5. They took the lead in that one, lost it, came back, took it again, and didn't look back. Now Maggie Buckholtz.
Big opportunity for Oregon Tech. Buckholtz has been swinging a hot bat. Of course, we know how good she is throughout the entire year.
Buckholtz cracks one to center. Haley Wood grabs it. Allen tags from third. 1 run scores. The opener for Oregon Tech in the bottom of the first.
Like her approach, good situational softball, not worried about a big inning. She saw opportunity to put the ball in there, RBI sacrifice, win every inning. You know, I know the 3 and 4 runs up, and those are going to happen, but, you know, your goal is to try to get 1 run an inning. And maybe 1 or 2 times you get a multiple runs per inning, so that's a great job hitting.
I've never heard that. You're just looking to get 1 run every inning.
1 run inning. Our theory, our philosophy with us is the 3-run home run is the difference maker. But the 3-run home run only happens 1 time per game. Score 2 or 3 other innings, 1 run, 1 run, 1 run.
As it's slapped into right, J.C. Sievert moves to second on the throw to third that does not get Kayla Mick. The Owls of Oregon Tech are flying in the first.
Great base running on the backside. Going first to third is huge. Base hit to right field, but Sievert on the backside reading the throw from right fielder over to third and get another run in scoring position. But as I was saying earlier, so we play for a 3-run shot, but we want at least 2 or 3 1-run innings. And if you get that 3-run shot, now you're up 6. And I think that's how you score. That's how you have big wins and score a lot of runs. And it's situational softball, and then there's that time where situational goes out the window. It's about grip and rip, dropping load, or however you want to call it, being more aggressive and seeing how far you can hit it. And that's kind of what we've preached at and we've done at our place for a long time.
To left, the diving effort can't save it for Mackenzie Keats. Another run scores as Mick taps the plate. 2-0 Oregon Tech.
Wow. A lot of things going on in that play. Great effort by the left fielder. Even to get up and about throw her out at third, and then the hitter taking the back run. You know, that's a good offense. Is that there's 2 times now that back runners took second base, and that's just a great play all the way around.
Credited a single to Lexi Klum advancing on the throw. 2 runners in scoring position with a 2-0 lead for Oregon Tech. And now Kenzie Staub steps up.
Yeah, this is a situation here. So here's your 3-run bomb situation, right? You know, you got 2 runs on the board, momentum's on your side, maybe a little panic on the defensive side. So Mackenzie Staub to sit back and zone in on one spot and see how far you can hit it.
For Staub, it would be her 3rd home run on the season with just 2 this year, though a .308 batting average. That's typical for the Oregon Tech Owls. Grounder to third, the throw home. Paxton Hoop has the rundown and the tag applied on J.C. Sievert.
Home plate's wide open.
Sievert had nowhere to go. Lexi Klum had already moved to third base. Now 2 down. Puakea Milbourne entered the day 1 of 7 in the tournament, then went 2 for 4 against Marion.
You know this kid's going to come swing it. I mean, she proved that a couple hours ago. Double and a single, deep center field, I think it was. And she's an aggressive kind of hitter. You can tell her uniform is dirty as all get out. So she's looking for a 2 RBI double or 3-run home run.
She's got her foot wrapped up after an awkward step on a single earlier. She crossed first base, kind of got hurt, went to the dugout. The game paused. She got her foot wrapped up by the trainer and came back out to run and score. Liner to Sickow. She makes that play and makes up for the error at the top of this bottom of the first. 2-run score, 2 hits. With that error, Oregon Tech takes a 2-0 lead to the second. Two runs scored by Oregon Tech in the bottom of the first have them with some run support for their sophomore pitcher, Casey Schmidt, who has a quick word with her third baseman, Addie Kashnick, and the shortstop, Kayla Mick, before the home plate umpire, Brian Soleil, gets the official wording. A smile on Mr. Soleil. He knows he's got to wait for ESPN to come back. He should be getting that notice any time now that we're ready to go for inning number 2. It is quite the veteran umpiring crew for the NAIA Softball World Series. Soleil, 15 years of experience.
You know, the time between innings, Jack, sometimes a lot of these kids are not used to that. And I wonder, too, because, you know, in the first game, the kids from Marion wanted to work fast and had to slow down because of it. So, you know, I wonder sometimes does this change the feel that pitchers have or hitters have when they get started.
Mackenzie Pollack stands in as the 6-hole hitter leading off the second. Pollack, Haley Wood, and Paxton Hoop due up for the Patriots. We saw in the first game Oregon Tech go up and then immediately lose the lead in the next half inning.
It's a nice cut. And that's, you know, anybody doesn't want to answer back. Cumberlands is, you know, you give up 2 and let's cut the lead in half. Find a way to cut it in half. Good approaches, good eyes, good discipline at the plate.
That one barely missed from Schmidt.
It's kind of the same thing happened in the first game. She wasn't getting that call, and finally she had to put the ball over the plate a little bit and got in trouble.
Kenzie Pollack transferred from the University of Pikeville within the Mid-South Conference. She hits it to center, into the sunshine. Lexi Klum is able to use those sunglasses to her advantage, and with a smile, she makes the play.
Yeah, that sun, you know, the first game it was half the infield. It doesn't really seem like it's moved much from the infield. Now it's kind of shifted to taking half, 2/3 of the from left field line over almost to center field. It's the areas are, you know, it was first base in the first game, now center field. I mean, you know, the kind of areas that sun's pointing at, it's kind of bad spots.
Both the center fielder Lexi Klum and the right fielder Maggie Buckholtz using their gloves to block the sun. That one popped over Ryan McCachran down the third base line. He's going to go and look for that one. Well, we won't have any replays from the third base camera as Ryan makes the play. Everyone's got to pitch in doing everything, huh, Coach?
Everybody's got it. You got to shag some foul balls every now and then. Why not?
Haley Wood with 1 down and a 1-2 count against her. The junior, Haley Wood this season, .273 average. Called strike 3. First strikeout on the day for Casey Schmidt.
Pounding that zone low and away, good curveball. She's been there probably 75% of the time already.
Pitcher versus catcher. Paxton Hoop slides in, looking for her first hit of the tournament. Just 2 strikeouts so far for Hoop.
Another low and away. The Cumberlands hitters are trying to pull that ball. They need to start thinking about taking that ball to right center.
First ever World Series trip for the Cumberlands Patriots. This has been all part of the plan. Hoop with a pop out to second to end the second. At least the top half, anyway. To the bottom half, where the Owls go back to the plate. Partly cloudy in Columbus, Georgia. The sun continues to set on R.G. Jones Field at the 42nd Annual Spring Classic, the NAIA Softball World Series, for the 5th time, held here in Columbus, Georgia. Was here about a decade ago, 2013-14. Moved around the country, came back post-COVID in 2021. That's when the Oregon Tech Owls made it to the championship game. They lost to Southern Oregon. It's been held in Columbus ever since. Morgan Radford back to work in the circle. Bowls it in for ball 1 against the leadoff hitter, Addie Kashnick. The lone non-300 hitter. Bats .293. She smacks one to left. What a play. Well read by Mackenzie Keats.
It's a great play by Keats. Great swing. Good cut. Dog left over the plate. Got to think Cumberland's had a couple pitchers in the bullpens earlier. Got to think they're not going to allow too many balls to be struck that hard. Great swing.
Keats read it well. First step was back. For good reason. If she had taken her momentum forward, that's over her head. Nita Cook. Had a double in her first at bat. Back a game ago.
Got a feeling Nita Cook is a big game, big situation hitter. You know, she went 0 for 2 her last 2 times, but when they needed her the most is when she delivered that big 2 RBI double.
Both pitchers trying to figure out the strike zone of Brian Soleil early on. That pitch, not good enough for strike 3.
You hear it from both crowds. It doesn't matter which pitcher it is. Both crowds want the same call.
Well, that's a good sign when you got both crowds going against you as an umpire. It means you're at least being consistent.
That's right. He's not giving nobody either way. I'm not sure Cumberland's like that strike 3 call a little while ago, though.
Cook gets it through the left side. Past the diving effort of Emily Bryant at third. Nita Cook with a 1-out single.
It's a great piece of hitting. If you watch how she kind of reset her load and got on time for the outside pitch just enough to get her barrel to the ball through the 5-6 hole.
Back to the top. Zoe Allen reached on an error in the first. Here's what you were talking about. Manufacture 1 run every inning. Oregon Tech leading by 2. Get 1 on, and first pitch, Allen goes with the bunt attempt. She pulls back for ball 1, however. Throw to second gets away from Sickow, though Cook is held at second as Haley Wood backed that up well.
As mentioned earlier, one of the things about Oregon Tech is they don't have a slapper to not hold, but they got a kid that can move, that can run, and Nita Cook, and she's got 17 stolen bases, so that puts base hit puts her in scoring position.
There's Bailey Dillander, head coach of the Pats. She laid out a 5-year plan when she took over at Cumberlands now 7 years ago. COVID got in the way of that 5-year plan. We give her the 2-year extension. She said by year 2, under her leadership, the team would be top 3 in the conference. Check, that was correct. By year 3, they would be in the position to win their first title as this ball gets away from Paxton Hoop and Cook takes 3rd. By year 3, Cumberlands did win their first conference title in the Mid-South Conference. And year 5, the plan was win the conference and host the opening round of the World Series. That also came to fruition, though albeit a couple years delayed with COVID
Correct,
interrupting things.
COVID messed a lot of things up, but you got to respect that as a young coach coming out, having the forecast, the fortitude to be able to say, okay, here's what I'm going to do step by step, and that's part of the process, and that's a great plan. That's awesome to hear. I'm glad it's working out for her, and I'm sure the next 5 years is going to be how many more times we're going to get to the final 2 days of the World Series, right? So something to build on.
She was an incredible player at Campbellsville. But when she was playing against Cumberlands back then, they played in a small town park. Didn't even have their own facility. Popped up down the third base line. A play for Emily Bryant. She looks back at Cook to keep her at 3rd. 2 away.
Yeah, no, that's part of the day student athletes is they want to see their own facilities. They want to see nice facilities. They want things like that, and that's played a big impact on making this program what it is today. And along with hiring, a new coach brings in new energy. Get a new place to call home. I mean, it's just, today's athletes are a little different. They want to have things they call their own. And that includes a facility or locker room and, all those stuff.
That's what a lot of the players told me when I asked them about why they went to Cumberlands in the first place. And when you go on a visit and you talk to that lady as head coach and you hear her plan for them and then you see the facility, a lot of which are 10 times better than their high school ones, it's an easy decision. Lined right back to Radford. She knocks it to Sickow. The fire over in time. No run scores as Cook is left stranded at 3rd to end the 2nd inning. Cumberlands head. Cumberlands Patriots hoping that Miley Cyrus brings them some good luck into the 3rd inning.
Yeah, softball, softball players, they think they're dancers. And it goes hand in hand for a big inning. I'm calling one run this inning for sure.
Well, you should have seen that. The girl that was leading the dancing there in the dugout, that was Marin Livingston, usually the starting catcher. She had quite the dance after a double a couple days ago at second base. This team loves to celebrate. They have a lot of fun.
Morgan Radford got a little split grip. See if she, usually folks with a split grip, they'll be able to get a little more top hand, more ground ball line drive-ish kind of hit. Usually from left-handed side, you see split grip associated with some slappers too, but she doesn't, Radford doesn't seem to be moving through the box. I think she's swinging away.
With Coach Dillander playing in the Mid-South Conference and playing at a high level in the NAIA, I asked her what she thought has changed from then to now within the game, within NAIA softball. Not much, just parity. The information and knowledge for younger players has made everyone so much better across the board. I'm sure you can attest to this at the D2 level, that anyone can beat anyone on any given day with the amount of talent there is.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's offense. The game's so offensive oriented, whether that be most time, to me, what I see the change is the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And, leads are not safe anymore. It's no longer low-scoring games, and kids are stronger. And you got video. I mean, the same thing, we'll be at a hotel and we get through playing one night, and at 11 o'clock at night, we got kids down in the lobby looking at video of the pitcher and how they hit. I mean, it's just crazy. To me, that's the biggest thing I've seen, and it's a disadvantage towards the pitchers. I think it's making life for the pitchers harder, and that's why I think, you see all these teams here this week. It's got at least 2 kids that have thrown a lot of innings, and that's kind of what it's going to take a lot. And I think, you see it on the D1 level. You see Oklahoma, and you see their offense, and it's just big hits all the time.
It's Terry Hall out at second base. He had some issue going on. Perhaps he needed to get his sunglasses. Looks like that's what he needed. He popped them on out there in the sunset shining right in his eyes.
Yeah, it looked like, hey, I'm a coach. I got rag on the umpire. I look like he's putting a little suntan lotion on his elbow because he's got his left side. I don't know what's going on. I mean, he just – Smith's starting to fall behind again. She did that kind of in that second inning, first game. So see, Cumberlands can start taking a little advantage of 2-0 counts here.
Casey Schmidt got chased in the first game. Pulled after 2 1/3 innings. That was this exact moment. Carly Oliver with a 1-out walk strides down the first baseline. After Cumberlands went 3 and out in the second, they've got their first base runner since the first. And now Maddie Sickow, who ended her drought with a single in the first, watches ball 1.
Yeah, it's 5 balls in a row out there on the outer side.
Maddie Sickow, one of 2 seniors who were recruited as Patriots, who have stuck around in a 13 recruit class. Just 2 remain. Through the culture change under Bailey Dillander, Maddie Sickow a big piece of that. Her story is a fun one.
I know one thing, she's got a rifle over at shortstop. She showed it off a while ago, and that base hit that deflected off the pitcher's glove.
Well, that might come from her time playing baseball. Grew up playing with the boys on the diamond up until her freshman year of high school when they wouldn't let her play high school baseball. So she switched to full-time softball. But before that, would play 3 games in a day. She would pitch in a baseball game. And I mean, she wasn't just playing. She was dominating these guys. Pitch in the morning, play short in the evening, and then close out the night with another game on the mound for the baseball team in Tennessee, though she flies out to center for out number 2 in the third.
I'd like to see her be a little bit more disciplined. That ball was probably out of the zone. I like the idea that Cumberlands, they want to swing a little better pitches, just so that way you can hit some line drive, hit some balls a little bit harder. Put a little pressure on Oregon Tech.
If there's any player that can tie this game up with one swing of the bat, it's Mackenzie Keats. 4 home runs this World Series, 3 in 1 game against Marion last week. Through the gap in left. Oliver moves to second. Keats with a 2-out single.
Got a good balance swing, good compact.
Emily Bryant reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Looked like she wanted that one.
She wanted that. But again, Smith, man, she's not coming away from that outside. You can tell it's frustrating. The Cumberlands hitters just a little because they want to pull the ball. There's a shot. Maybe.
It dies in the air. Maggie Buckholtz read it off the bat perfectly, and that ends the top of the third with 2 left on again for the second time today for Cumberlands on the bases. Lead for Oregon Tech. Bottom of the third brings them back to the plate. Jack Cruiser joined by Brad Huskisson on the call. Brad, what do you think?
Well, tell me, Buckholtz a major again. I just want to make sure it matched up what.
Maggie Buckholtz, I think this is what your degree was in as well. Electrical engineering and renewable energy as a double major.
Yeah, I just can't get past the idea that somebody else was going to major in that like I was. I just cannot get past that.
She got under that one. It slices near the line and almost dropped. But Mackenzie Keats equal to the task.
Is it bad that I can't remember what the kid degree's in because it's so advanced? You know, is that a bad thing?
I don't think so.
I mean, I can't remember what it is.
Well, hopefully Maggie Buckholtz discovers the more clean and efficient way to power our cars moving forward. We'll see. Hot shot to second. Oliver to Turnbow for number 2.
I know I'm making fun. I'm not making fun, but I'm making light of the idea. But it just tells you that these female student athletes, what they are going to become when they get through playing this sport. And it's just amazing. These are the future. These are the brains. This is in America here, and it's just hats off to those people to be able to take all those kind of degrees and at the same time play softball at this level. I mean, it's amazing.
Softball's secondary for a lot of these kids. Though at this level, they're darn good. For it to be taking a back seat, especially a double major.
Right.
You talk to a single major just focused on like English, and they've got a lot of work to do on long bus trips.
And a lot of folks just don't understand the student athletes, how they operate with the time and commitment with softball in the academics, and you know, this is their job. This is what their job is besides playing softball, and it's remarkable. And my hats are always off to females and being strong leaders and doing those things and putting time and effort into it.
The nursing major, Morgan Radford, with strike number 1 on the 3-0.
I like how she's throwing the ball. Radford's coming inside, mixing around a little bit. Got past that first inning.
Hit to short. Sickow makes the play. 1, 2, 3. Goes Cumberlands in the field. Still trailing 2-0. The Pats look to bounce back after losing yesterday. The 4th inning set to get underway. Cumberlands, 3 hits. Oregon Tech, 3 hits. Oregon Tech leading 2-0 in the only stat that matters. Bailey Turnbow bounce into the beat, feeling the rhythm. Looks to get the Pats into a rhythm at the plate.
Well, we're starting that mid-game, that fourth inning, so now's a good time for the Patriots to. Turnbull had a great, good cut the last at bat while she flew out to right field. So they got to make an adjustment outside pitch. At 5'10", she can swing it a little bit. They're getting her down 2-0 count. You know, I think the last 3 out of the 5 hitters, they've got her to a 2-0 count. They got to figure out how to win the backside of that AB if they want to get back in this game and score a couple runs.
Casey Schmidt off her rhythm to start the 4th. Hattie Kashnik walks over to give her a pat on the back.
Good timeout by the catcher.
Pitcher in the bullpen, Mackenzie Staub, came in relief in game number 1 after 2 1/3 innings. Got the win. Casey Schmidt, the pitcher of the year in the Cascade Conference. Schmidt, just the 3rd pitcher to win 26 or more games in a season.
You know, a lot of times people don't give catchers respect. Even though it's 3-0 count, and everybody's wondering why you call a timeout 3-0 count. I mean, ABs come back from 3-0 to get folks out. Not this one, but still a great pitch.
That may be a toenail below the knees. Sorry for that image.
Depends on whose toenail that is. Is it Jim Carrey's toenail and Dumb and Dumber movie, or whose toenail is?
We were talking earlier about Ty Cobb. That could still be his. I hear those things don't stop growing. A bunt. Play at first. A bang-bang one, though Cook makes the play in time, covering at first.
Yeah, great bunt. Another bunt to the right side so he couldn't get the lead runner. Gives Haley Wood an opportunity right here to pick an RBI.
Wood right to Schmidt, the flip for 2. Back-to-back defensive plays for Casey Schmidt, this time to the natural first baseman, Puakea Milbourne.
Wood looking for the outside pitch going opposite field, just kind of lunge a little bit, hit off the end of the bat. Schmidt is not leaving that outside corner. She is not leaving that spot.
It's worked this far.
She's still, you got to hit it, or I'm just keep throwing.
Paxton Hoop, starting catcher today for the Pats. Check swing for ball 1. Down to first base, where Adam McAloney says she did not go. 60 years of experience between these 4 umpires. We mentioned Brian Soleil behind the plate and Adam McAloney at first. We saw earlier Terry Hall get his shades. Scott Helmke, the lone man we neglected over at third base.
Another 2-0 count. Cumberlands is this. They're getting the counts they want, but just got to piece up the 2-0 pitch, 2-1 pitches.
The sophomore Schmidt gets hit to short. Mick scoops, fields, and retires out number 3. Still a 2-0 lead in a winner advances to the championship game the loser's season comes to a close. Oregon Tech with 3 hits and 2 runs off them. Did that throw you for a loop?
It threw me for a loop a little bit.
The DJ, whoever's running the music.
I don't hear the music very well. I can't hear it real well. I'm not.
Anytime I hear the semblance of Ariana Grande, I'm going to pick up on it.
So you're speaking that, that language I don't understand. Ox chord. Let's say jam box or something. That's my age.
I didn't pack my Walkman with me on my trip to Columbus.
Yeah. I've got some iPod. What is it? iBuds? I got iBuds.
Oh yeah.
I got. I've learned how to do that now.
Five straight up, 5 straight down for the Oregon Tech offense. 6, 7, 8. Starting things off here in the 4th with Kenzie Staub. Reached on a fielder's choice all the way back in the 1st inning.
I always wonder what Charles Barkley and John Crook feels like, when they're doing their games. And I'm not close to that, don't get me wrong. But when you throw out ox chord and I see the look on my face, it's probably the same look I've seen on those guys. Now I get it, right?
Well, just don't say anything too off color, or else Charles Barkley might have some competition.
Yeah.
That guy is a riot.
It's fun to watch.
The 1-2 gets Kenzie Staub frozen.
It's a nice pitch. Nice. With a little heat, a little coming up on the outside pitch.
The mind games of Bailey Dillander, at least to the press box. The lineup we saw had Tally Burgess listed as the starting pitcher. That must have changed in between us getting that text and then them meeting at the plate.
Morgan Radford's throwing a 3-hitter. I mean, there's a good changeup right there. I mean, they just got to be able to get some runs, put some pieces of runs together. But she's throwing a great game, mixing the speeds up and holding this Oregon Tech offense down.
Radford, known as one of the wildest characters in the clubhouse for the Pats. In a world of her own, say a couple of their teammates, I won't out them. Said she's hilarious. She'll just start barking at you out of nowhere.
Okay. Obviously, she got a little dog in her. She's pitching like she's got a little dog in her today.
I said, do you mean like she'll just start yelling at you? No, like she'll start
actual
barking.
Is it a bulldog bark? Is it a chihuahua bark?
The imitation was quite aggressive. That's all I'll say. That ball inside. Puakea Milbourne earns the walk. This bottom of the order did well for the Owls in their first game today. Though they were 4 for 12 as a group at the plate. On the 4 hits, they all came around to score. And a pinch runner at first base. Maddie DeVerna off the bench to run for the first baseman Milbourne, who was a bit shaken up earlier in the day.
Wow, we're not missing that.
Come to think of it, Milbourne was dealing with something earlier in this weekend, last week actually, where they were pinch running for her every time she got on first. So that may have just re-aggravated something.
Okay. Because it didn't look like she tripped over the base. It was after she came across the base.
Hit to short, DeVerna to second. 2 away as Sickow has looked real confident in the field ever since the error in the first.
Now, you don't want to hit a ball so she can throw it to first, that's for sure. I've seen her rifle 3 over there. So
now what is this? A towel has been delivered to Morgan Radford in the circle. The umpire from home plate, Brian Soleil, made the walk out to the circle. He checked out the ball as it was given back to Radford. You see this a lot in Major League Baseball. They're checking every hat brim and the gloves. Does anything sticky even help in softball?
Well, you know, there's a couple of things.
Grounded at third. Hold that thought. We'll get to it next half inning. Emily Bryant retires the side, leaving one. They're looking for a big inning here from their Pats. Coming off a loss for just the third time this season. Down 2-0 into the fifth. Those 2 runs scored in the bottom of the first. Oregon Tech has been stellar with Casey Schmidt in the circle.
Raffer's been dealing on the circle, and she's leading off this this fifth. So let's see if she can put a little bit in her own hands and work herself to get a lead off on base somehow.
Well, let's pick up where we left off in the bottom of the fourth. Radford was delivered a towel out of the dugout in the circle. I'm curious whether or not anything sticky tack or anything like that, spider tack, I know is a big deal in the MLB. Is any of that legal or even used as an advantage in softball?
Yeah, there's some stuff, and I can't think of the exact name of it, but it's some kind of like golf, similar in the golf world, where the towel's a little sticky and it actually just dries your hand so you can get a better grip. Now, there is some other stuff out there that I think sometimes, or out the left. There's some other stuff out there that you can touch maybe afterwards, and it does get some of the grounder stuff on your hand, so it transfers to the ball. So I'm not a great expert. I've analyzed it a little bit, and we've had some teams that use it, and there's some stuff of it's legal, but there's some parts of it you can't. But it seems to me probably what she got is that towel's a little sticky and it just dries your hand.
The shot to left center. This could be trouble at the wall. Oh, what a grab. The sophomore Zoe Allen reached out and stole a double from Carly Oliver.
Big time play. She was going after that ball. She wasn't worried about her center fielder. That was her ball. Watch her. Disregard. Yeah. Players that make those kind of plays in these kind of games are the ones that are going to win. That's just hats off to the left fielder.
Already 2 outs on the Pats, who have left at least one on base in 3 of the 4 innings already completed. Maddie Sickow, a loud ring of the crossbar, signals the 1-1.
It's a great hit by Carly Oliver. I mean, she taking a shot at it. There's a lot of room out there left field, so it's kind of AB you want. Sometimes they fall, sometimes they don't.
Maddie Sickow joked that she should have went into being a welder before coming to college. Well, we spoke about jobs coming out of these teams and things that these players and people are doing outside of softball. Perhaps that was just some tongue-in-cheek action from Maddie.
Well, I can tell you this. You know, she's obviously Tennessee and I'm Kentucky, so we're basically the same kind of folk. So welding is a big trade up there. And you know, if you do some study and you read, you know, they talk about a lot of times now the college degrees losing its value and more of the trade jobs are coming back. And my dad was a welder. He welded in the coal mine, so I know a little bit about that. But I know some female. I got some cousins that, Kentucky joke, I got some cousins that, females that could weld.
Over my head. I'm just not going to let you get past the fact you said doo-doo. This is game number 17 of the World Series for those watching at home. I haven't had anyone to joke with until game 16.
Into game 16.
fans of the Patriots trying to get in the head of Greg Stewart and Casey Schmidt. Now in a pickle, but 2 outs. A runner at first, but Mackenzie Keats, at any time, she could launch one out of the ballpark. 4 home runs this World Series for the 3-hole hitter for the Patriots.
It's a good timeout again for Oregon Tech.
A bouncer to Schmidt. She stops it and gets the final out of the inning. The sophomore looks like a veteran in the circle. A lot of home runs, and I mean a lot of home runs in this World Series. Some diving catches from the outfield. A lot of tip plays in the infield gathered by a secondary infielder. SportsCenter Top 10 featured Nita Cook last night in the top 3. The 3rd best play on the day was the freshman Nita Cook. She ended the 4th inning for Oregon Tech at the plate. Now a pinch hitter starts the 5th.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the defense. We've seen at least 4 or 5 great outfield plays in just the last, 12 innings?
Jensen Becker replaces Zoe Allen in the top of the 5th to second. A nice run for Carly Oliver ends the chance at Becker going 2 for 2 today.
It's starting to get dark, Jack, so let's see if the ball doesn't fly out once or twice before this game's over with by somebody.
Well, Morgan Radford would like to keep it in the infield as long as possible.
I mean, she's pitching her tail off. She got to get some run support.
A hot shot right to the OIT dugout. No problem, just a couple smiles. It was Addie Kashnik who had to make a move in the dugout quickly. Now that towel firmly in the back pocket of Morgan Radford.
What's weird about it, she's got it. Well, she can reach around there. I was going to say, now she's reaching around. Usually they've got it on the throwing hand side.
Maybe it's one of those mock pockets sewn in. Can't put anything in there just for fashion. The Pats know their fashion. With the amount of glitter in the hair, as you see, Radford doesn't shine as bright. No, there you see a little bit of streaks of blue. A lot of face paint going on. The pregame routine.
Nice change. Nice change. 2-1 change.
2-1 change. What does that mean?
2-1, hitter's favor. 2-1 count, hitter's favor. So he saw that change up and taking a big swing and swing and miss. And the downside of it is if you don't have good control, your 2-1 change, it comes a 3-1. Now you're start thinking you're in a little trouble. So you see some folks throw a lot of 2-1 change. You see some that don't. There's no like an in between. It's one or the other.
The 3-2 smacked for a single. Kayla Mick gets on base for the 2nd time. This her first hit on the day. Well, at least her first hit of this game. She had a single against Marion earlier. See, I thought that was like a 12-6 curveball, where that's completely different.
Yeah, the 2-1, the best pitch.
Crack to left. Easy play for Mackenzie Keats. Mick held it first, 2 away.
One of the things we talk about VAR pitchers is the 2-1 pitch is the most important pitch in the whole scenario. If you go strike, then you got them. If you throw a ball, man, they're probably going to get you. And we talk a lot about the 2-1 pitches, and we throw a lot of 2-1 changes because most time hitters are sitting on something hard, whether it's curve, screw. Another great pitch. I don't know where that one missed.
Brian Soleil stands behind home plate, taking the barrage of words thrown at him from behind. Like we've said from the beginning, both teams have been upset with Mr. Soleil, so you know he's doing a good job.
We got a pretty active crowd. Both teams' crowds are very fun, very supportive of their teams, and they're letting the umpires know about the strike zone as well. Why should they not? You know, I mean, they got a better view up there.
Runner goes, the throw, not in time. Sickow thought she got her. Paxton Hoop couldn't have placed that ball any better on the toss.
Yeah, that's a great throw. I wish.
Well, it was across the body.
Yeah, she kind of a little bit across. She got a little bit more to the bag. Yeah, that cross gave her extra step, extra time.
The diving effort of Bryant can't save it. Mick comes all the way around to score. 3-0 Oregon Tech in the 5th.
Kind of a miss-hit changeup, but just in the right spot.
Well, man, how crucial was the 25th steal of Mick's season?
Yeah, good call by Oregon Tech, trying to get the extra runner over there, especially with 2 outs.
We may have a new arm coming in, and we do, for the Pats. This is who we expected to start the game, Tally Burgess. She's played the most among any pitcher for the Cumberlands in the World Series. 12.1 innings pitched in the World Series, 10 runs allowed. Though she's got 2 wins and the loss credited to her. When Burgess is spinning the ball well, Brad, there's not many people who can hit off of him.
Yeah, pitchers that are spin oriented, you are obviously reliant on your spin. And I can see that ball jumps up a little bit, so they had good movement. So, yeah, I mean, the offset of not spinning is the ball stays flat and doesn't rotate as much, and it kind of tends to lean towards more the middle of the strike zone. So, spinning pitcher, you got to make it spin.
This comes after a J.C. Sievert single. After Kayla Mick reached on a single, stole second, and came around to score. Lexi Klum swings and drops it a hair foul. Instead of a base hit, it's strike 2. Oof. Lexi Klum's going to want that back. Or will she? Leading 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th. That one almost got a piece of Klum. Once more, down the third baseline, foul again. This time, well over the fence.
Yeah, that ball caught too much of the strike zone. I'm sure I think that was supposed to be a rise ball, but probably didn't jump. At least the way the body looked. 2-2 count. She's got to make sure she spins it and gets it in and out of the zone.
Klum takes advantage of a new sign of life with the single. That moves Sievert over to second. Kenzie Staub comes up.
Yeah, Kenzie Staub been a pull hitter all day, so see if Burgess can stay away, see if she can get a rollover ground ball and get out of this inning. Been down 3 couple at-bats left. That's not insurmountable.
Not at all for a team that has the most home runs hit, the Patriots, in this World Series. Fly ball to shallow left. Sickow tracks it to leave two stranded for the cleanup batter, Emily Bryant.
The crowd's trying to get the Cumberlands hitters wound up a little bit. Equally, the Oregon Tech folks are trying to get them to slam the door. And another 2-0 count. Zach, come on, man. Cumberlands have to figure out how to win this 2-0 count from here on out. Smith, it's not going to give you a whole lot on the inside, so a little more patience. Don't roll over on a ground ball. Get a base runner.
Bryant out. Adam McAloney paused, but made the call on the bang-bang play. Another look.
Yeah, there's that rollover.
Looked as though Milbourne had trouble catching it off the dirt, though she got it for out number one. Casey Schmidt, what a bounce back for her. After getting the hook after 2 1/3 innings a game ago, Schmidt takes this one into the 6th.
Yeah, Schmidt seems to really, really match up with these hitters versus she did in the first game. You know, a lot of times that's a matchup. It's all about you got 2 or 3 good pitchers on your team and who you match up better with the opposing offenses. Another 2-0 count.
Casey doesn't look too phased, though her head coach will make the long walk out to the circle, perhaps just to make sure.
Yeah, I feel like he's been pretty spot on both games today on calling timeouts at the right moments to reset his pitcher and his defense, reset the mindset.
Greg Stewart played baseball at Sterling College in Kansas. He was the head coach at Sterling from 97 to 01, coached football as well there. And went to Bluefield State Division II to coach baseball. And he's been at Oregon Tech for the last 19 years.
He's moved around a little bit.
Well, if he can get the win here today and then 2 against Southern Oregon to win the Red Banner, it would be win number 700.
Another rollover, Jack.
So that's credit Casey Schmidt.
That's all Schmidt. I mean, she's probably, I'm guessing she's 90% of loading away curveball outside. And she gets behind 2-0. She just brings it a little bit back over plate. And the Cumberland hitters are just rolling over. I mean, she's dealing. I mean, she's dealing.
Mackenzie Pollack with 2 outs against her.
So it's a ball, probably a ball and a half off the plate. See, she kind of squares it back to the home plate just a little bit.
Hit to third. Kashnik over to Milbourne for out number 3. Oregon Tech, the 1 seed. Their 3 outs would like to make it a rematch of the 2021 World Series Championship if they can hang on to this lead or perhaps add on to it and close it out. Southern Oregon beat these Owls 10-0 earlier in the tournament. That sent Oregon Tech to the losers bracket. A win over Marion earlier today after a dominant win over Midland yesterday. Milbourne A high fly ball to shallow left. Keats retires out 1.
Good aggressive swing as normal. She's been all day. Just got a little bit underneath it. Speed difference right here probably made her get the bat head just at the contact point just a little bit too wrong. Good first pitch.
Tally Burgess. The junior gets Kashnik 0-2.
Nice rise ball. One of the few we've seen so far.
Off the glove of Burgess, the play from Oliver in time for number 2. That's the second time we've seen the pitcher deflect a line drive up the middle to one of the middle infielders, and the play still get made.
I mean, it's something they work on. You know, that's what we purposely try. No, I'm just saying.
Hey, I don't know. I would believe it.
Man, I tell you what, there's some times, man, where they knock a ball down, and I wish it hadn't have, though. And this is hard for a pitcher. I mean, she just got to try to do what she can. You know, we had win a game in the conference tournament. We ended up winning, but we gave up a run, and if the pitcher just had let it go, our second baseman would shift it over. It just, you know, you never know. You do the opposite, it does the opposite thing. So, you know, the rubber's 43 feet, but at release point, they're probably 38, 37 feet, and that ball's coming back. It probably, you know, depends on how much that ball was hit, whether it's 70 or 80 miles by our back. You don't have a whole lot of time to think about it. It's all reaction.
I can't imagine in practice you're standing there smoking line drives at your pitcher just to work on deflections.
Well, I tell you, now we will hit a real ball fungo at them at a pretty good speed, but what we really work on, we take tennis balls and a tennis racket, and we let them do their full wind up, and I'll just hose tennis balls at them, and that's the best way we've learned to do something at a high rate of speed, and there's not really a chance they're going to get hurt. I've seen a couple tennis balls they take off the top of the forehead, but it doesn't hurt, so about the only way you can do it, I think. Nice
Called
pitch.
strike 3. Nita Cook goes down looking. Tallaps, a good omen for the Cumberlands Patriots. Down by 3 in the top of the 7th. Their season on the line. Haley Wood leads things off in the 7-hole. 0 for 2 today. Due up. Livingston and Radford.
Casey Smith's she's been fabulous tonight. She hit that little road bump in that second, third inning like she did the first game and got through it. And she's been lights out ever since, shutting down the Cumberland hitters, and like to see them be aggressive here and put a charge. You know, now Smith's throwing a little drop ball action.
Haley Wood is 1 of 10 in the World Series. But she had a big single against Marion. It took a lot to hold up on, but she did. The junior against the sophomore. She likes that one. Rolled over. 1 down. Now Marin Livingston steps up. Now watch this. The practice swing. Now we saw this a couple days ago. Asked her what she was writing in the dirt. TL23. Right back to the pitcher. Over to first for out number 2. The TL for Tim Livingston. That's her uncle who passed away in November of 2022. She wears the ribbons in the back of her hair, green and yellow, for T-cell lymphoma, which Uncle Tim, known as Timmy the Pooh, beat as a kid, though expectedly when he passed, unexpectedly. Livingston added that little superstition as a way to honor her late family member. Now just 1 out remaining in the season for the Pats. Morgan Radford started this game in the circle for the Cumberlands Patriots in their first trip to the World Series ever. The Patriots turn to their designated player. 2-1 the count. This team has overcome everything, including hexes. Rolled over, a bounce over the pitcher, the throw, not in time. Morgan Radford, a 2-out infield single.
Hustling down the line, hard play to make for his shortstop, just over the pitcher's head. She made a great play, great throw. Good time to rally, 2 outs, 7th inning.
You like drama?
This could be it.
Winner to the championship, Carly Oliver. Watches ball 1. Casey Schmidt, after getting pulled in game 1 of the doubleheader, got help from Mackenzie Staub in game 1, got the start in game 2, and hasn't looked back. Oliver fouls away. She reached on a walk in the 3rd, flew out to left her other 2 times at the plate.
Yeah, she's had some good swings against Smith right here. So if Smith had a couple kids kind of dialed in a little bit, even though she hadn't given it but 4 hits.
The 1-1 to Schmidt. It's a rematch of 2021. Oregon Tech takes on Southern Oregon in the championship tomorrow. The Owls win it 3-0. A hard-fought battle with the Pats of Cumberlands. The University of the Cumberlands Patriots season comes to a close in the penultimate day of the World Series in trip number 1 as a program. For Maddie Sickow and Marin Livingston, the 2 seniors who have been at Cumberlands their entire careers, an emotional moment and a heartbreaking loss. For the Oregon Tech Owls, their hearts are set on revenge. They lost.